The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is... Please note, the new number is...
Ayo Josh, let me get a little bit of reverb. Yeah. J Will. Yeah, I'm about that lifestyle. I talk green work, repping it all over. It's right on the t-shirt. Fan for a lifetime. Yeah, that's a long pass. Figure I would show some love right on the podcast. Turn this up loud and make sure you don't do nothing else. Cause if you're listening to us, then you're improving your health. My name is J Will. Welcome to the show, yeah. Wrestle, flow, yeah.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Wrestling Reverb. It is a bright and sunny day where I am anyway. Kevin, is it bright and sunny? Is it dark? I don't know. It's probably dark over there.
It's dark now. It was a shitty day. Very rainy, very windy and cold and ugly outside. Yeah. That kind of day where you just kind of curl up in bed with a book, or you watch. I mean, I watched some wrestling today. I read a little bit.
Wait, you watch wrestling? What?
No. I watched the NCAA wrestling, the amateur wrestling, real wrestling.
Oh, the real stuff.
This is wrestling.
Oh boy. Well, it's been obviously it's been a week since we've been on. I know, I can do math, apparently. It has been a week since you've listened to our lovely voices discuss wrestling, and last week we went in with the, with the kind of the confusion. I wouldn't say confusion, just like the unknown of what to expect from the draft and everything like that, and then that happened, and we'll break that down in a little bit, and we'll break down some Dynamite and some NXT. It's just been, I don't know, have you felt like since that big week of wrestling a few weeks ago, that premiere week or whatever you want to call it, do you feel like, I don't know, has the hype died a little bit since that, or am I just waking up for the day and not thinking clearly?
No, I think that it is still hot. I mean, I'm still just as excited every Wednesday night as I was from the beginning, from the onset. Inevitably, after the hype is going to die down a little bit after the premiere of Dynamite and the premiere of NXT on USA. The hype was going to die down a bit, but I'd still say it's there. And if you really want to get into it, you could check the hype by the numbers and by the viewers, I guess.
That's true.
They're not tuning in quite as much as they were week one, but they're still there.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. Are ratings important anymore, though? Are they really something we should look at and really measure and judge by in this day and age? Because it's not like everyone... No one really sits down to watch a program. The only program that I sit down and watch live is wrestling. Other than that, I want to record it. I want to watch it I want to stream it later when I want to watch it.
Exactly. And the thing is with AEW, you have the replay on right after. That's how I watched AEW last night, and NXT plays it the next day on the network. Mm-hmm. So you have tons of people watching it in places where the ratings aren't reflected. Yeah. So yeah, I wrote about this for the Chair Shot today. Actually, it's an older blog. I just sort of repackaged it. But basically, I don't think ratings really matter because people are still tuning in whenever they want, like you said. And also, like, I don't know, TV ratings, I think, across the board are I just think less people are watching TV and less people are watching wrestling. But that doesn't mean that the show's going to get canceled.
No. It's I don't think shows, I don't know. I don't really understand that anymore because ratings can really tank for anything. Not that ratings are tanking, but ratings can tank for any show, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to get cancelled because they could be reflected in other places. Because pretty much every television channel or every show is on some form of streaming service somewhere along the line, whether it's on that cable company's streaming service or it's on Netflix or something. So you're getting your fix of your favorite show in some way, shape, or form. And whenever anything's cancelled in general anymore, it's never really cancelled. Someone's always ready to pick it up, whether it's a streaming service or whatever. Someone's always just there to like, oh, we'll pick it up. Nothing really can end without it being like, well, is it really over? Nothing's really over anymore. But I don't know. Ratings are one thing. I mean, some people live by them, some people don't. I don't really pay attention to them personally, but I mean, I see them on the internet. I mean, it's hard not to not see them on Twitter or something like that. Someone's always posting about it. But, you know, it's not like people are going on like between NXT and AEW, like there's this massive gap in the ratings. And I don't think it's a massive gap at all. But that's
it's
just
not.
me. It's like a few
And
100,000.
it's shrinking by the weeks, honestly. Like NXT is holding pretty steady, while AEW, from week 1 to week 2, they lost like 30% of their viewership, and now I think they did like right around 1 million to this Wednesday, and NXT did like 700,000.
Yeah,
I don't think it's that huge a gap, and I don't see why it can't be even small. Why it can't be even the ground can't be made up by NXT. I think NXT. They have a good card coming out next week. I think that they should be good. The thing is, AEW announces their whole match card ahead of time, basically. Mm-hmm. Like, they have like 4 or 5 matches promoted beforehand, whereas NXT will promote 1 or 2, and then the rest of it you sort of have to tune in to see. Yeah, I'm not sure which practice I like more.
I don't like knowing everything that's going down on a show, because wrestling is built on surprise and suspense, in my opinion. So I like to watch with a few little things. Like, I hate when WWE or any company says, like, this match is kicking off the show. Don't tell me. I'd rather just turn it on and be like, oh, this match is going on first. I get the premise of it, why they do it, because you want people to tune into your show. But personally, I like it when it's like, okay, I know these matches are happening, but I don't know the order. I don't like things like that. But I don't like knowing everything, personally, because A, I either build hype and I'm let down, or B, I don't care about the matches that they've announced and I don't pay attention. So if I don't know, I can't build any expectation. That's just my personal opinion. But it's not like other programs aren't dropping. I mean, Smackdown dropped a lot between its premiere and its second week, which I kind of assumed would happen anyway. You look at the first Smackdown, had people like The Rock and that on it, and you know that it's going to have a big premiere and then drop. I think it dropped by about 1 million viewers between week 1 and week 2. But that's not necessarily a surprise or necessarily a bad thing. I think this is where SmackDown's rating is going to, kind of hover around, is that 3.0 mark.
Yeah, and SmackDown does not. I don't think SmackDown really has to worry. I think SmackDown, because when you look at it, when you look at how WWE programming does against other shows, it's almost always the top of the board. So, and I think NXT and AEW have the same sort of cushion where, like, they might not be doing great in terms of a huge number, and they might be losing viewers, but they're still doing good when up against the competition.
Yes. Less people are watching television in general, not just wrestling. It's not like everybody's sitting down to watch television, especially on a Friday night for SmackDown or whatever night. It's not like they're real, like, boom nights in television. Like, Friday night television, I think it's just a general consensus around the world that it's kind of just like not a nothing night, just like nothing really, you're not going to premiere like a big time show on a Friday night, because Friday night television is just, the ratings aren't great for Friday night television. So, SmackDown's not in like an easy night, but by any means it is not doing like bad. People are really dogging it because it's a WWE product, and I mean, they could just turn left instead of turning right, and people will be like, I fucking hate this show. So any chance they get to shit on it, they will. It's interesting though. I'm not really one, again, that pays too much attention to the ratings, but I know what they are. I know they're there. They're on the internet. I see them, but it doesn't really make or break me going, oh, they did terrible because they dropped this many. A good show's a good show. here's something that's we can kind of get into. I've noticed with us lately that we're not like jerk offs about it, but we're not afraid to have kind of voiced our opinions on Twitter, and if it's unpopular, it's unpopular. I'm not going in with the intention of being like, this is so unpopular, oh my god, but, you know, I like to voice my opinion on some things, as do you, Kev. So I've decided every week here on Wrestling Reverb, we're going to have a little segment of the show called the Unpopular Opinion of the Week. It's going to be me, my unpopular opinion, and Kevin's unpopular opinion, and we're just going to say our one little bit for the week, just so we can get it off of our chest, because we're fairly positive people when it comes to wrestling. We like to see the good in everything, so the one little bit where we can be like the vocal minority of Twitter that like to be a little bit asshole about it, we can be that person for 5 minutes. So, I don't know, I'm sure I'll find some fancy theme music eventually, but unpopular opinion of the week or something, yeah. Kevin, you can start us off. You said you had something in your brain. What is your unpopular opinion of the week?
I had a couple. I have to narrow it down to just one. Why don't you go first?
Me? You want me to go first? Okay, so
Yeah.
Mine is a doozy. I have made it not like at the forefront of everyone's brain, but I've certainly talked about it. The fact that AEW might not be the show for me. I was watching this week, as I always do. I was watching AEW and NXT at the same time, and I was just kind of watching the show, and nothing necessarily was bad. Again, I don't want to say this. It's not bad. I just really had that feeling of like, I don't think I'm going to watch this show next week. Weekly, at least. I think I'll still tune into the AEW pay-per-views, but I think I'm done with the weekly stuff. I just don't. 3 weeks in, I'm kind of like, okay, I know the gist of the show. I know the way that it's kind of not structured, but I know the way it kind of flows, and I just don't think it's for me. So my unpopular opinion of the week is that I think I'm done with Dynamite.
Damn.
I don't know. I could change my mind. I could be like, okay, I'm gonna watch this show for a little bit longer. But I mean, 3 weeks is pretty good time to be like, okay, I can see how this show is going, and it's not my cup of tea. I don't think. Again, not bad show at all, just not my personal like, I guess. Oh,
Okay.
I know.
That's fair. I mean, I know
Yeah,
last night I was having, because, you know, I watched NXT live, I watched AEW on the rewatch, and that's 4 hours of wrestling. And I know at one point during AEW, I was sort of feeling the same way, like, oh man, is this really like something I'm gonna do every week? I don't know. NXT kept me more invested throughout. I feel more for the NXT roster. I know them. I get them. I love them. It sucked me back in with the last like 45 minutes or so. I will say that.
Yeah.
My unpopular opinion, though, is also about AEW. It's that the Inner Circle sucks.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. It's a weird group of people. You know, it's
NWO light. That's my hot take, unpopular opinion, whatever the hell you want to call it. I just don't get why they have these guys together when you can have, you know, all these guys deserve to do better on their own. I don't think being in a stable is helping Jake Hager. I don't think that's helping him at all. I don't think it's helping Santana and Ortiz. They're like one of the best tag teams on the planet. Why do they need to be in a stable? I get that you get the rub from Jericho, but really, are you getting the rub from Jericho when you're his lackeys?
I don't know. I know people have mixed feelings on the Inner Circle. I'm not particularly one. We've seen stables before. I don't know. I just think if this happened anywhere else, people would be a little bit angrier at it. But that's just my opinion. But
could
Jericho,
you imagine if like, I don't know, who's a veteran? Randy Orton teamed up with Cedric Alexander, teamed up with what's the random tag team? Teamed up with like Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, and then teamed up with a big guy like Strowman. Like, could you imagine if that was a tag, like, if that was a stable? People would be shitting all over it. That's the way I look at the Inner Circle. It's 5 guys who just don't fit together that they're forcing together. And I hated Chris Jericho's promo last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was either last week or 2 weeks ago.
It was last week. We said Hagar. It's
Hated it.
So here's this is you know how much I love Chris Jericho. He's my favorite of all time. AEW is souring me on Chris Jericho. Yeah.
Yes. That is exactly how I feel.
This is the thing. Like, okay, we've only had 3 weeks of television. I understand there's time to move and time to shuffle around, but he's been in all 3 main events. On NXT, there's been a different person in the main event every week. So it seems to me, I understand he's the world champion. He should be presented as the top guy, but every week he's been the forefront of everything when, I don't know, I'm just not emotionally invested in AEW. And I don't want to come across as a shitting on AEW person because, again, I want this place to succeed. I want it to be great. Just because I don't necessarily like it doesn't mean I don't want it to succeed. I want everybody to watch this product because it makes everyone else do better. I understand that. And there's obviously a huge audience for AEW. A lot of the core who just, A, want more wrestling, so they watch AEW. B, they don't like WWE, so they'll watch, and they still like wrestling, so they'll watch AEW. Or there's just those people that are like, I've been waiting for something else, so I'm going to watch AEW. I understand that. Go for it. You know, wave that banner proudly. But it doesn't necessarily mean to say that because you can wave your banner about AEW, I can also say that it's not personally for me. But yeah, Chris Jericho is my favorite wrestler of all time. And in AEW, I don't really have time for him. I don't know. But that's just, I guess that's our unpopular opinions of the week. Don't come at us too hard on Twitter. We understand that we're in the minority on that one, at least.
No, you know what? Please come at me hard on Twitter.
Go on Kevin then.
I've been feeling like pretty provocative the last couple of days.
I've noticed.
I've wanted to get into a Twitter fight.
Oh,
real bad.
Don't say that. I mean, I'm in a minority on a few things lately because, as you probably can tell, Kevin, people aren't very excited for WWE 2K20. It's getting roasted. It's getting
roasted.
It's getting roasted. I personally don't hate the 2K games, and I'm looking forward to it. I have it pre-ordered. I'm probably going to play it at midnight on Monday night or Tuesday morning. And apparently, I'm a stupid person for that. But It's just a video game. There's some things in it that I'm like, why is this in it? But I'm like, it's still a wrestling game. I'm still going to play it. I'm still going to love it. But apparently,
if AEW made a shit video game, then people would be like, it's just a game, it's still awesome, yada, yada, yada. But WWE makes it, and all of a sudden, it's like, this is the worst thing they've ever done. WWE sucks. Even though it's like not on WWE to make a good video game, it's on the people at 2K. So if the game really does suck, and I've seen some clips, and I'm not impressed, but I also don't even know if it's a real clip.
There's some things in it I'm like, this doesn't look good. But there's some things in it that I'm like, this is fine. I'm going to play this. I'm going to get a lot of time out of this game. There's some things in it that I'm like, why is Bianca Belair's hair a little bit crusty? It's got a bit too much hairspray in it. But that's a word. But like, there's other things in it that I'm like, awesome. I'm going to play this and I'm going to love it. Just chill out a little bit. Like, you have, for everybody, well, except for those creators that got flown out to Vegas to play it, nobody's fucking played this game yet. So just chill out. You've only seen some clips. So until you actually play it, then judge it. But I'm not allowed to post that I'm excited for it because people are like, you're fucking stupid. So I don't know. I guess that's another unpopular opinion of the week. Anyway, let's get into breaking down a little bit of this draft because, again, that's some people were not too keen on how they did the draft this year. I don't personally have a problem with how they did the draft. I kind of like that they had 2 pools because you could draft other people instead of just drafting the big-time players. You could actually throw in some people that don't usually get a little bit of love. But there were some people that just didn't feel the execution was very good. Okay, we'll get your thoughts on how the actual draft itself you felt about it. But number 1 pick overall, Becky Lynch. Were you surprised?
No, I wasn't surprised.
No,
wouldn't have been. I know I said in this show last week that if I had the number 1 pick, I would have gone Roman Reigns, but they ended up getting Reigns to SmackDown.
Yeah, so he was the
which
first pick for SmackDown.
Yeah, it really all depends on who got the first pick. Because if Raw got the first pick, I would have assumed Becky.
Yeah.
And if SmackDown got it, I would have assumed Roman. But Becky's a great number one pick. She's a champion. She is one of the most over people in the company, and she's
the face of the company. Would you say that?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but she's on the cover of the video game. I think you could call her the co-face with Roman Reigns.
I don't know. I feel like she is, but I feel like she's more recognizable at this stage than Roman. But that's just me. I don't know.
I also think Roman's faded. I mean, and this is by design. I think they wanted to cool him off, but he's not. He hasn't been in the world title picture in a while. He hasn't really been like the guy. I know he's challenging for the IC belt on SmackDown on Friday. That should be a really good match, by the way.
Yeah, it will
Nakamura and Reigns.
Reigns doesn't have bad matches.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't. And Nakamura is fantastic. And you got the added element of Sami Zayn down in the manager. How do you like Sami Zayn as the manager, by the way? Well, how do you like him as a manager for Shinsuke, I should say?
I think Nakamura needed a manager. I think that there was, even though he does speak decent English, I feel like he still needed somebody to be there for him. And Sami Zayn is thriving in this role.
He really is. I have more interest. I love Sami Zayn's a fantastic worker, don't get me wrong. But I have more interest in seeing Sami Zayn talk than I do wrestle sometimes. Or just
as a bad guy, absolutely.
Yeah.
Promos are so good, and we've talked about this before too. But he puts away some of his best moves when he's a bad guy. He puts away the DDT across the apron through the ropes.
He has to.
He doesn't really hit the Michinoku driver. He puts away. Yeah, you put away the good moves because you don't want people to cheer you. And the easiest way to not get cheered is to be a shitty wrestler.
Yeah, well, that's true. Did you, by the way, off topic, but well, not off topic, but did you see that poll that WWE put out yesterday on Twitter? Who had the best Michinoku driver? And it was like Cedric Alexander, Natalia, Luke Harper, and Taka Michinoku. I was like, Taka did, because have you read the name of the move? It's his move.
Yeah. I know that it's his move, so like therefore he should win. There shouldn't have even been a poll.
No.
But now that they made a poll, I think Cedric Alexander hits the nicest looking Michinoku driver.
It's just maybe, but it's not. It's his. It's Tucker's move. It's Tucker's move. So therefore, that by design, however he does it, is the best way to do it. I don't know. I understand you though. Cedric does a beautiful Michinoku driver. Oh my god, he does a beautiful one. Anyway, back to the draft. We had Roman. We had Becky. First round picks also Drew McIntyre. I didn't think he would go in the first round, but
he shouldn't have gone in the first round. He's not first round talent.
He should be, but I didn't think it would happen. But I'm happy that he did. Over on Raw, of course, there was technically 2 first rounds. We had like Seth and Brock, which isn't a surprise. They should go. They're champions. Charlotte, Andrade. Who else was in the first round of these two? I can't even remember. But, I was excited to see Andrade in the first round. He should be presented as someone that's special, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Him and Zelina, I should
terrific. And Zelina is terrific. And that is a huge boost for them. I didn't see him going in the first round, but I'm damn glad he did.
Yeah, me too. I'm really glad that he did. And him and Harley had a really decent match on Raw. There was a lot of matches on Raw that were just kind of like, I don't want to say the word filler, but they were presented in a way that they had no stakes. But like you've seen good matches like Ali and Andrade and Cedric and Buddy Murphy. I'm glad Buddy... have you noticed with the Raw and SmackDown rosters, Raw's got a really lot of young, up-and-coming talent. There's a few big names on Raw, of course, but there is a lot of like hungry talent that are ready to kind of break through, and they're going to have to use some other people, which is what I'm liking. Raw's become that show when SmackDown, of course, with being on Fox, has got a lot of the bigger names, I guess you would say.
Yeah, the established names.
Yeah.
Fox isn't trying to bet on potential. They're trying to be a proven winner.
Money.
So they're trying to make money. So they're obviously going to be attracted to the big names. I'm feeling Raw though. Like Raw's got a great mid card, and that mid card is going to become a main event scene because you have to make new stars because they don't have as many top stars as SmackDown does. So you're going to see guys like Andrade and guys like I don't even know who else got drafted to
Buddy
Raw.
Murphy, Cedric
Buddy Murphy,
Alexander.
Cedric Alexander. Like, oh my God, we're gonna get some great. And Murphy and Alexander had a match on Raw, did they not?
Yeah, him and Alexander had a match on Raw, and it was really good.
Of course it was. Of course it was. They're top talents, and they're going to be treated like top talents on Raw. Raw's going to be the show, man.
Raw is the sleeper show here. This is Raw's opportunity to really, come back and be like, no, we're still the A show here. We're still the flagship. This is the chance for Raw to do so. And like, as much as people have their opinions on Seth Rollins at the moment, he seems to be the real. He's evoking a lot of emotion out of people with Seth, with some things that he's saying and doing. But Seth Rollins with the Universal Championship, working with people like Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander and Andrade. I mean, I am not mad at that at all. There's potential for some really fun matches. Now, of course, we'll get back to the draft in a minute. But speaking of Seth Rollins, he will be defending the championship at Crown Jewel. He's now been taken out of the Team Hogan match officially, but he will be defending the championship at Crown Jewel against the Fiend Bray Wyatt in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Now, this got announced during Raw. He also burnt down the Funhouse on Raw, which was interesting. Now, this match has evoked so many opinions. The main one being, oh no, this is happening again. Now, I noticed that you may have put this on Twitter, or it may have been in our DMs. I'm not really sure. You're not angry at this match at all. You're kind of... are you excited for it? I am
excited for it.
Okay,
you know what?
First, it's like, the Fiend's on Smackdown. So, that's the first head scratcher I had in my brain. The second thing is like, oh dear God, how are we going to get out of this one? That's how I see it. I don't see the match being bad. I just see, like, my opinion, they booked themselves into a corner on Hell in a Cell. I feel like they're booking themselves into a corner again, just because they're trying to get as much out of this feud as they can while people are still talking about it.
So here's my thinking. Number one, to your first point, Crown Jewel, it's a pay-per-view, clearly dual branded, so I don't have a problem with the Raw guy taking on a SmackDown guy. I love Falls Count Anywhere matches. I like them more than Hell in a Cell matches. So that's a plus for me. And I think that this is a chance for them to do it over. I think this is the chance for them to right the wrong. I think the Fiend wins the WWE title, wins the Universal title here, and we have a absolute maelstrom on our hands.
Yeah, but he's on SmackDown.
Maybe he goes back to Raw.
I guess. I mean, it could happen.
Yes.
I don't know. Falls Count Anywhere matches, well, actually, I won't even say what I was about to say, because Hell in a Cell matches you can't really book yourself out of, but they did with a referee stoppage, so I guess technically in a Falls Count Anywhere match, it could be a ref stoppage. I guess there's no technical rule against that. Well, I don't know. But, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Cain Velasquez will win the WWE Championship and bring it to Raw, and Seth and Bray will take the Universal title to SmackDown. We're forgetting the fact that Cain Velasquez is fighting Brock for the title, and Cain Velasquez is not technically on a brand, so maybe he'll win the title and they'll sign him to Raw.
Could be. I have a feeling we're going to see some fucked up shit at Crown Jewel, because you know what they want to excite the Saudis, and they want to make these pay-per-views important because people are tuning out to the Crown Jewel, to the Saudi shows. So I think they want to make these shows important, and what better way to make it important than having a huge title switch or two?
Yeah, that's true. How do you feel about WWE's, so obviously with the 3 Saudi shows previously, they kind of marketed them on nostalgia and older stars bringing in the revenue, but now it's marketed on outside stars bringing in revenue and bringing in eyes. How do you feel about this attempt as opposed to the Nostalgia Act?
I'd rather see nostalgia because I don't care about mixed martial arts or boxing.
Fair. But what about to the getting in a casual fan's mind? Does this make people watch Crown Jewel more so than the Undertaker or Goldberg?
I think I think you're gonna get like MMA fans and boxing fans tuning in for this. I think you're gonna draw casual fans in. Casual wrestling fans are probably more attracted to nostalgia, but casual sports fans are gonna be attracted to Tyson Fury and Cain Velasquez.
That's true. Very true. And it airs during the day over in the States. So how do you feel about that? Is that better for people, or is it easier to watch wrestling at night? I'm not really sure.
It's on Halloween, which is a Thursday afternoon. It's definitely easier to watch at night because people work. I have the day off, but that's because I work a weird-ass schedule.
Yeah.
I have my Wednesdays and Thursdays off and work Saturdays and Sundays. Your average person works on Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and they're not going to be able to watch Crown Jewel live. I think it's easier to watch it at night.
Is Halloween over there do you get like the day off work for Halloween, or is it still like all systems are going with work? I don't know how it works.
Everything's pretty much normal. You don't get work off for Halloween. You get like a half day at school. You get to go to a little parade. I remember my Halloween parades were always fun. You get some candy and shit.
Right.
Oh, I like Halloween. I wish I was young again.
I've never celebrated it, so I don't know.
Oh my god.
We don't really.
When you're like 7, 8 years old, there's literally nothing but like Halloween might supersede Christmas.
Damn.
When you're like 7 or 8.
Damn. Yeah, I've never. It's not really like it's different. Like, say in the last 10 years, it's been more like a thing that's starting to happen, but it's like nothing. Like, no one really celebrates it over here. Like, if someone tried to trick or treat at my door, I'd be like, "What the hell? What are you doing here?" Like legit. Like that's how people would be though, because like we just don't celebrate it here. It's just not a thing. I think it's a very American holiday.
I could just imagine some 5-year-old kid walking up to your door and you just being like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
I'd be like, "Get out of here! I don't like kids anyway. I've made that known."
Just give them apples with razor blades in them.
Just whoa! Here you go. Have a pack of mac and cheese. Wait. Do you like Friends?
I mean, I've never really watched it front to back, but I when it's on, I'm not a huge Friends fan.
Okay, well, everyone that isn't Kevin, the rest of the world, there's an episode of Friends where Rachel answers the door to do trick-or-treating, and she writes them a check. I don't know. I just found that story funny, but obviously you don't understand it because you don't watch Friends.
No.
Anyway,
no clue.
Oh, by the way, did you see Jennifer Aniston broke Instagram with that Friends selfie? That's been everywhere. She joined Instagram and got millions of followers in a day and took a selfie with all the Friends cast, and everyone was like, "Holy fucking shit!" I mean, me included.
Yeah, I did see that. I was less than impressed.
Oh, I mean, 2.3 million followers in one day is pretty impressive.
I did that in 4 hours.
Here we go. Kevin's boasting again. Anyway, back to the draft. How do you feel overall about the way this draft was executed and done? Because, again, there's opinions on it.
Definitely different. I always liked the old draft format, but I could see why they did it this way. It's more sports. I mean, you don't usually have 2 pools of people. That was a little weird. But I understand why. It's because you get different talent showcase, like you said.
Yeah.
You get names like Jinder Mahal drafted. You get names like
Shelton Benjamin,
Liv Morgan, Shelton Benjamin. These underutilized stars getting drafted. So I understand the 2 pools, and I understand 3 picks for Raw, 2 for SmackDown. That makes sense. Raw is a 3-hour show.
Yes.
In all, I really didn't have a problem with it. It is different, but I didn't think it was bad.
No. It probably could have been done. It could have been a little bit more polished in some areas, but I thought it was fine. It did the end of the day, it did the job. It did what it needed to do. It got people drafted. We pretty much have everyone drafted now. I think they said on WWE The Bump this week. Anyone who hasn't watched that show, by the way, it's actually really good. I watched The Bump. It's really funny. Also, WWE Backstage. Did you watch that, Kevin?
No, there was a baseball game on.
I watched it, I found it, somewhere on the internet. And I watched it, and it's really good. I'm so glad that Renee Young is back in a role where she feels super, super comfortable, because her personality shows, and she's very, very good at hosting. I don't think Renee Young's going to be in the WWE for much longer. Just hot take.
I think she's got eyes on bigger things. She could be an
outside of wrestling. I don't
no
think
doubt.
she's gonna do anything within wrestling. I think she is a personality that could be on ESPN or could be on those kind of shows. But even other things, like I think she could get into, like she's the type of personality that could host a talk show or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's very good, but she's very, very good at this in this role. That's where she shines, is hosting, and she's good at directing a segment. You know what I mean? Like she's good at kind of navigating traffic with things. I don't think she's a great follower. She's more of a leader. And on commentary, she obviously was not experienced, and she was following. She had to follow Cole's lead and follow what Graves said. She's bouncing, and you can't really show a whole lot of emotion and personality at commentary. It's just very hard to do. Well, I would imagine it would be hard to do. She's really got to really try extra hard. She's more of a showy person that can kind of just lead a show. And I mean, she has to navigate some traffic with Booker T. So Booker's great, but he can kind of go off course very easily. That's just how Booker is.
Yeah, he's sort of a rambler.
Yeah, he is. But it was a very good show. It's not kayfabe at all. Like, they said the words heel and face on that show. You know what I mean? Like, it's like and they have a pin, like, Paige and Christian were on this week, and, like, if they didn't like something, they said it was crap, basically. So, it's, you know, I think it's a weird in-between balance of kayfabe and not kayfabe. Obviously, there's some things that WWE would be like, you can't say that. But for the most part, it was just go with whatever your opinion is, and it seemed like it was pretty natural. So, that's good. I liked the show. It was cool.
I did see Renee Young cut a promo on some guy who tweeted at her.
They have like this segment. Paige did as well, but Renee Young cut a promo, and it was basically like, how can you ruin a Stone Cold Stunner? She's like, when have I ever called a Stone Cold Stunner? And she's like, I was already fired from that job, so I'm just swimming in this Fox money now. I'm like,
yeah,
good for you.
Good. You gotta good way to you gotta ruin bad
too.
Yeah, you gotta ruin bad tweets, man. That should be a segment. Bad tweets of the week.
Yeah, they did, like, it was basically like a tweet that someone sent at her and someone sent at Paige, and then they cut a promo on that person. But they only did two. But yeah,
I'm gonna do that right now.
Go ahead.
You know exactly what tweet I'm talking about.
What tweet?
I usually don't like to be like I mean, like I said, I was feeling very provocative. So there was a tweet. I'm not gonna say who it was by because I'll make them famous. But it reads as followed. Just gonna throw this out there.
Please paraphrase.
Just gonna throw this out there. If you post pro WWE material, you will be unfollowed. I'm drawing the line in the sand. Way too many alternatives to enjoy these days.
Oh yes.
Dude, who the fuck are you to get off on telling anybody, oh, if you post some good things about this company, I'm gonna want to follow you because they suck and wrestling is better outside of the WWE. You are such a fucking loser.
I agree. It's like, so you're just gonna unfollow and mute and block people that just like don't share the same value, like the same view as you do. It's like, that's just silly.
Fucking do it, dude. Like, go ahead, block like thousands of people because a lot of people like WWE. You can like whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely.
I'm gonna do this every week. I'm gonna just like roast a tweet.
Find a tweet and roast it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just a very closed-minded view, but hey, whatever. I'm certainly not like that. I know you're not. Okay, let's talk about, so, other than the draft, obviously, other things happened this week. We had Dynamite and NXT. Now, I kind of stated my opinion on how I felt about Dynamite and stuff like that, and how I feel about AEW in general, but I think NXT's doing wonderfully. They're building to some really cool stuff. I'm excited for the prospect of maybe seeing Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. That would be just mind-blowing kind of experience. I know Rhea's fighting Bianca Belair next week. That'll be fun. It seems like the NXT Women's division is shaping up to some kind of like six-pack challenge or a battle royal of some kind. There seems to be a lot of people throwing their name in the hat to be like, I'm going to beat Shayna Baszler. I mean, Shayna Baszler has been the champion for a long time. I believe it's a year at the end of the month. So, I mean, even before that though, she is a two-time is a two-time champ. So she is kind of been pretty dominant for the last year and a half or so of NXT. There's so many names. There's Tegan Nox, there's Dakota Kai, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai. They're all just kind of throwing their name in here. What do you expect with the NXT women's division? Who's stepping up to Shayna? Is it going to be all of them? Is it going to be one of them? What's going on in your mind for the ladies?
I tweeted this last night. I tweeted a couple things last night. I was very active on Twitter.
You were.
I really think we might see, instead of a title defense at NXT TakeOver War Games, I think we might see an actual War Games match. The women. Like, could you imagine Shayna, Jessamyn Duke, and Marina Shafir versus like Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, and Candice LeRae?
That'd be cool. That'd be pretty fun.
Failing that, I think that next up to the plate is Ripley again. I don't think she wins the belt because I think I know who wins the belt. I think it's Tegan Nox.
Yeah, I don't know. I really honestly don't know who. I don't see Rhea Ripley winning it. I would like Rhea to win it, but I don't see Rhea. I don't see it being Io either. Dakota? I see more of Dakota than Tegan. I don't know. It's a lot. The good thing is there's a lot of option. I don't see it being... One thing I'm pretty certain is that it's not going to be Bianca. I don't think it'll be Bianca. But
no, I think Bianca's probably coming up. It's Bianca, whatever. I think she's coming up soon.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but there's a lot of good... I mean, Candice is also always, in the back of our brains as well, but there's a lot of good talent in the NXT women's division. How do you feel about people that are a little bit maybe below, but like Tainara and stuff like that? How do you feel about her? She's come leaps and bounds. I tweeted that yesterday. She's come a long way since originally in the Mae Young Classic. She has really improved in the ring, Tainara Conchi. I think she's just Tainara now.
Yeah, she's got a good gimmick, the judo, the black belt Brazilian judo style, and she has really improved since the Mae Young Classic. Mm-hmm. She's got a good look to her. She's nasty in the ring and outside the ring on Twitter.
Yeah, she is
vicious, and I think that she's really come a long way, like you said, leaps and bounds, definitely. And as for you throw other names out there like Xia Li, Mia Yim.
Kaden Carter, she's new. Kaden
Carter,
she's come a long way too.
Last night,
yeah, she can do a lot of stuff that I've never seen. She's got she's obviously just getting reps at this stage because she's like trying to, get some experience and stuff like that. But even since the Mae Young Classic, I was watching her yesterday and I was like, wow, she can do some stuff that I really like. Springboards off the bottom, went to drop kicks, and she does crucifix bombs and. She's really athletic and agile. I think she could be a lot of fun. But the women's division is actually really, really strong in NXT. I think they probably got the best group of ladies. Yeah. I feel like people were like, oh, this is fine. But, there's a lot of good talent in the NXT women's division. They may have the best women's division out of everybody. Maybe. I know AEW's women's division is not something I'm that... excited for. I'm not invested in it.
Women's division is weak.
It's like they've got Rio's great, but I don't think she was a great first champion. I think she should be someone that's chasing the title, to be completely honest. But Britt's great.
I'm not crazy about Britt Baker after watching her in the ring.
Did you know she's a dentist?
No.
Every 5 seconds, she's a dentist. I know she's a dentist. Is that her gimmick? Is her gimmick dentist? Well, she's a doctor.
Yeah.
That's her gimmick.
Well, a dentist is a doctor, technically.
Yeah.
The doctor will see you now. She comes out with a white coat on. Yeah, her gimmick is that she's a doctor/dentist.
It's like, but they tell you every 5 seconds that she is a dentist. And it's like, okay, I understand. But yeah, she's good. But I don't know. There's not really anybody in the women's division on AEW side that I'm really like. I'm just like a big proud like lover of you. Like there's some kind of disconnect there for me. I just don't think they've really presented them in a way that they're the top, they're important. If you can say what you will about WWE, people like to give their opinions on that, how it's just terrible and they do nothing right. But they build their women's division, they've built it. I mean, arguably their top star of the company is Becky Lynch. So, I mean, they present their women's division in a way where it's on par, if not surpassing, the world title scene. People will argue that all they want, but I'm a firm believer of that. So AEW can't really say the same. And don't give me that. They've only had 3 weeks of television. They've had pay-per-views. They've had opportunities to they've had opportunities to really build their women's division, and in my opinion, they haven't.
Yeah, I haven't been really impressed with the matches. I haven't been really impressed with the talent. I don't mind Riho, but like she's very, very small.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the small thing so much. I mean, there's a lot of small people in wrestling. I mean, I understand people like to believe with wrestling, and there's, but we believe in Irish whips.
Damn it.
We believe in Irish whips. We believe in literal dead men. So, I mean,
yeah, they do book her smart though. Like, she doesn't win matches.
They do.
She wins matches with roll-ups, and she wins matches by being smart and by having great ring awareness.
Yeah, I like that. But I just don't think she's the perfect first champ. That's just, I think someone else should have been the champion first, and that build for Riho, coming over, like, overcoming the odds and doing this would have been like, oh, when she finally wins, it would have been cooler. But I mean, they're just trying something different, and I get it. But yeah, I'm not really into the AEW women's division. It's just, I don't know, not invested, I guess. But the NXT women's division is something I'm very invested in. They've got a lot of great talent. Not to say that there isn't great talent in AEW at all. There is a lot of great talent in AEW. But overall, I've really been enjoying NXT. And you said something on Twitter yesterday about enhancement matches and how they do them very, very well. And I agree with you. I like that style that they do. They have really important matches. They have some great matches. And then they have some... Every show should have filler of some kind, in my opinion, because you can't just have great match after great match. It's very tiring, for one, and it devalues a great match because you're just seeing them all the time. So you need something just to kind of calm you down, and NXT do that in a really good way without burying any talent. I mean, look at Matt Riddle and Bronson Reed. They had a great match, and it was for the purpose of getting Matt Riddle the win. But they did it in a way that made Bronson look strong. I mean, I think you tweeted something like, you didn't even know who he was, but you're impressed by him, or something like that.
Yeah, you had Bronson Reed, you had Boa, you had...
I mean, Katie Carter.
Yeah. You had... who did Shirai... No, Shirai worked with Carter.
Yeah. Tana Akonchi worked with Tegan Knox.
None of them looked bad in those matches. Nope. They all looked pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And I was worried that with AEW they wouldn't do filler, like it would just be hot match after hot match after hot match. But they did have an enhancement match with LAX, or Proud and Powerful rather, taking on John Silver and Alex Reynolds. I've actually, fun fact, called a John Silver match.
Ooh, look at you, Big Dog Kev.
You're damn right.
Hell yeah.
Here comes the big dog.
It's I've just been enjoying the NXT flow, I guess. I that's my thing, I guess you would say, but I don't know. I've also enjoyed Smackdown the last couple of weeks as well, so I don't know, I'm a bit everywhere with what I enjoy. Something I'm not into, and something a lot of people are not into, and I want your just thoughts on this, is the Lana Lashley Rusev stuff. I mean, there was a segment on Raw that I'm sure you've seen floating around on the internet with the massage and the spa, and Lana saying she likes it harder and deeper. It's interesting. This storyline is going nowhere fast.
Yeah, WWE could do risque stuff without delving into softcore pornography.
I agree. It's
Um,
it's just like they're trying to go in like shock and awe of like, oh my god, she said deeper and harder. It's like I don't need to watch that on
yeah, that
Raw.
makes Lana look bad. It makes Rusev look bad.
Makes
I don't think
Lashley
it
look
makes
terrible.
Lashley look good.
It makes Lashley look terrible because he's not a very good actor. I mean,
No,
Lana's playing her part and she can act. I understand that she is an actress, first and foremost, and she's playing it fine. It's not that her acting is bad. It's just this storyline is. I'm calling a spade here. The storyline is dog shit. It's dog shit.
Yeah.
And it's just, no, what's the point of it? Like, it's not helping anybody in this situation. Let's just, WWE have done it before, so let's do it again. Drop this storyline and forget it ever happened.
Yeah, like it's crazy how often they do that, but they do it, and and
Poo.
I think that it's just a joke. I think it's just so stupid. Rusev deserves better. Like, Rusev had a match with Seth Rollins like 2 weeks ago.
Yep. Now this is happening. I mean, they're all on Raw, I think, too. I think they all got drafted to Raw, so that'll be interesting. It's different. To say the least, it's different. But I'm not enjoying it, and I just hope they move on from it fast. I think they're both a part of that tag match, are they not? Is Lashley on Team Flair? I think he
Lashley's on Team Flair. Rusev's on Team Hogan.
So that'll be, I guess they'll finally meet up in the ring at Crown Jewel. I'm a bit I don't know whether I'm going to watch Crown Jewel or not. I am obviously not going to watch it live, like I've said. It's on during the early hours of the morning, but I don't know if I'm going to watch it. If I feel like it, I guess I'll wake up on that day and be like, sure, I'll watch this show. I'm sure you'll probably watch it because there's nothing better for you to do, I'm guessing, at 1 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon.
Absolutely right.
So you'll watch it. We'll see how it goes. Whatever. It's not going to be.
I honestly, because we only have 4 men. You have the two mixed. You have the Velasquez, Lesnar, Fury, Strowman. Neither of which I'm looking forward to. I don't care about Flair and Hogan. Honestly, the Fiend and Rollins is what made me think, oh, I should probably watch this.
That's the reason I want to watch it, is just because what the hell are they going to do? I'm not sure what's going to happen. So, I guess it's working, at least for me. They're planning making people watch these shows. I can look past, I know I've said in the past my kind of opinion, but it was a little bit hot. This time last year, the Saudi situation was very different to what it is now. Obviously some stuff went on, but I can look past politically and just say it's just a wrestling show. But that doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to talk about it a lot, and I still don't know whether I'm going to watch it, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really, regardless of where it is in the world, it doesn't really interest me to watch a lot of these matches. So I really don't. I mean, it's only, a couple of weeks, and it's on, and there's only 4 matches announced. I'm sure they'll announce more.
2 weeks today.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not really that. Whatever. If I can just watch The Fiend and Seth, that's what I'll watch. But other than that, there's not really a lot wrestling-wise that's really going on. We're just kind of going with the flow. Once we get into next month, it'll be Survivor Series time and stuff like that. I like Survivor Series. I know it's the lesser of the big 4 pay-per-views, but I like it. I hope they do SmackDown versus Raw this year, but I honestly don't think they will. I think they're just going to do normal stuff. I don't see it.
I don't mind.
Whatever. I like the Survivor Series tag matches and stuff like that.
So do I.
So I'm excited for that. And then we go into that weird in-between time between Survivor Series and the Rumble, when it's like Christmas, and what's worse than a holiday Raw? They're not great. Christmas Raws are never fun. I believe Christmas falls on NXT AEW's night, because Christmas is on a Wednesday this year. So,
oh shit, is it really?
So I don't know how that will work. I don't know if Dynamite will even be on that week, because I know TNT do stuff. I've heard anyway on the internet that they do stuff on Christmas night. So I'm unsure whether it will even be on. I'm sure WWE will probably pre-tape NXT and stuff like that. So We'll see what happens there. But, you know, that weird in-between time in, like, December until we get to the Rumble.
Yeah.
It's, like, just that...
December is, like, the worst month of the year for wrestling because it's literally such a downtime. You have a pay-per-view, but, like, no one really cares about it.
It's, like, TLC's in there, and there's a lot of, like, taped shows because of the holidays, obviously. That's not a complaint on... I want the talent to have holidays free. But there's a lot of, like, tape shows, and there's a big in-between gap between TLC and the Rumble. There always is. There's, like, 6 or 7 weeks, usually. But once we get it past that, and we get into the new year... It's Rumble time, and we're all good to go again. And I know that sounds like it sounds like it's way in the future, but it's only a couple of months, and we'll be there. And it'll be Mania time again, and we're ready to start all over again.
It all begins again.
It's exciting. Where's Mania next year? I forgot.
Where?
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Derp. They're doing, like, the pirate shit, aren't they?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. Anything else you want to add this week? Is there any... Oh, actually, hold up. Let's back up a minute. They had a tag match on Raw this week with the Kabuki Warriors with Natalia versus Natalia and a Lacey. Well, I just spoiled it. A mystery partner, which happened to be Lacey Evans. And it seems... Were they trialing for a Lacey Evans face run?
Won't work.
I don't see it working anyway. She'll be very, like, it'll be just, like, vanilla as her
character is so heelish. Like, you'd have to strip her of that. You could make her focus more on the Marine stuff, I guess, and make her a face, but I don't think she has the chops for it.
I don't think it will. I don't think the crowd will be very receptive of it. They weren't on Raw. Did you see that backhand that Kyrie gave Lacey? Whew.
Yeah.
That was a stiff backhand. Holy balls. I was like, ouch. That one would have hurt. And the way that Kyrie sold the woman's right was just fantastic.
It's really good.
But yeah, Lacey's on SmackDown now. There's a 6-pack challenge on SmackDown this week. I think it's like Mandy, Sonya, Lacey, Dana Brooke, Nikki Cross, and Carmella. The winner fights Bayley.
That should be good.
Yeah, that'll be a fun match.
I genuinely don't know who's going to win.
I think Dana Brooke's going to win it.
Ooh.
Is that a hot take? That's probably a really hot take. But I just remember there was a 6-pack challenge where Jinder Mahal won?
Yeah, and that's how he became WWE champion.
Dana Brooke could be in that same zone. I'm not saying she's going to win the title, but they want to create new stars. They have a lack of baby faces on SmackDown. Let's throw Dana Brooke in there. Bayley's a fresh heel. This could work.
And the crowd will be much more receptive to Dana Brooke than they were to Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, exactly. I don't hate it. I mean, it would probably be the safe bet would probably say Mella.
Yeah, Mella's my pick. I was thinking Dana, possibly.
She's a face.
Maybe Nikki Cross.
Yeah, I could see that. Bliss is sick, so that's why Bliss would not be in this match, I'm assuming. And Banks is obviously got some form of an injury, so she's not in this. But I'm kind of glad they're not, to be honest. I'm not. I don't mean to hate on Bliss.
Wide open.
Yeah, because there's someone else that can get a shot. Like, even if it is Mella has not been in this situation in quite a while where she's, vying for the title. I'm sad, but I'm also happy that her and Truth are split up because now they can do what they will with the 24/7 title. That's kind of running its course anyway, and that will just be on Raw, and they can do other stuff with it. But Mella's ready to do other stuff. I like Carmella. I know she had that run with the championship last year that people were not very, it wasn't very well received, but I don't know. I didn't hate it either. I thought she's a good talker. She's a good character. Is she the best worker in the world? No. But who is? Like, really, at the end of the day, who is? So,
I am.
Sure. Throw your name in. Do you want to make it a 7-pack challenge and you can go in the match as well? Maybe you can fight Bayley for the title.
A sexy 7-way? Yeah.
A sexy 7-way. Damn, that's visual. So, let's just, I'll say Dana. You're listening to this on a Friday, so I'm sure if you're listening to this before SmackDown, you can either call us really stupid, or one of us could be 100% right, or we could be both wrong, and maybe Sonya Deville will win it. Who knows? Maybe
I would actually love that.
But I just don't see them doing Sonya versus Bayley when Bayley's freshly heel. That's how I see it.
No,
Unless they're going to
maybe.
turn Sonya Deville, which, they could, but I don't know if they will.
It might be something they're willing to explore with her popularity on Total Divas.
That's true. That's actually really true. It's obviously there's very obvious ways you could go about things, but do you think, does that mean her and Mandy break up? Are they going to break them up? I don't know.
Yeah, at some point they will.
I'm sure they will. I don't see Mandy Rose winning it, that's for sure. They're not going to turn Mandy Rose face. That would be silly. That would be really stupid, to be honest. But anyway, I'm excited for that, and Reigns and Nakamura. I would probably say that Reigns is going to win the title. I mean,
I don't know. I don't think he's going to win it right away. I think Nakamura will win with some shenanigans.
Oh, yeah, maybe they'll fight at Crown Jewel. Oh no, wait, Shinsuke's in that match.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't mean they can't take him out. They took out Rollins. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that SmackDown tomorrow. This is really the first show of the post-draft era, so we'll see how it all goes. I'm glad that they're splitting up the brand. Like, they split up the brands again. I'm happy with the two rosters. You know, looking at them from top to bottom, they do look pretty good, and they look even in some areas and not in others, but in the best way possible, because there's some chance for some talent to really come up to the top. Anything else you want to add from this week that you feel necessary to talk about?
I just accidentally voted on an Instagram poll.
In what? For what? Please elaborate.
It was, I don't know where the hell it is. It was someone put up an Instagram poll about Long Island, New York, and it was like, is this city in Long Island, Patchogue for those who are listening, considered east or west? And I don't care, but my finger slipped and I voted no, or I voted west. And the worst part is that is the overwhelming underdog in the poll. It's down huge. So not only did I vote on some random girl's poll, I voted the wrong answer.
That's embarrassing because they can see what you voted, can't they?
Yes, they could.
That's rough. I
Son
like
of a bitch.
Instagram.
I don't really use Instagram.
I like Instagram. Instagram's probably my favorite social media platform, to be completely
I love
honest.
Twitter.
I
I
like
couldn't go
Twitter
without
too.
Twitter.
I could go without Facebook. I'm telling you that.
Yeah, me too. I basically do go without Facebook.
I don't really care about Facebook, to be completely honest. It's like old man's social media, I feel.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's my mom's social
Yeah,
media.
heap of mums are on Facebook and stuff like that. I mean, do you? It's not going away anytime soon, but I don't really care about it. Anyway, off on our social media rant, I guess that'll do us for this week. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Please make sure you rate this podcast 5 stars on iTunes, or if you're watching on YouTube, leave a like, a subscription. It helps us, like Spike, you know how it is. Leave a comment below. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. All of our links are, if you're watching, they're on the screen right now, or they're in the description below on the podcast or on YouTube or whatever. You'll find us where you need to find us. Until next time, I will see you, I guess, for the Josh Robinson Show. If you watch that every Tuesday, make sure to check out Kevin's blogs over. Go to Kevin's Twitter and you can find all the information you need to find. Hey, Kev, aren't you bringing back a certain popular segment of your blogs?
I am. Thanks for giving me the floor. So one of the first segments and really the only segment I've ever really had, is called 10 Questions, where I have a list of 10 questions. I ask random, Twitter personalities, wrestlers, referees, announcers, really anybody who wants to participate. I don't make it a thing where I'll ask people, but I like people to come to me, and I'm bringing that back. It's been on hiatus for almost a half a year, and I'm decided now's as good a time as any to bring it back. So if you're out there listening and you didn't take part in it in the first go round, you DM me or tweet me or something, and I'll get you the questions and I'll get you interviewed. I've been told it's a lot of fun by a lot of people. I've interviewed a lot of
I've done it.
big Twitter names.
Like me. I did it. Block me.
Josh did it.
Yeah, I did. It was actually fun because it's just like 10 questions that you're like, oh, you got to really think about it, but you're like, oh, it's just like they're not hard. Like, it's not like a test or anything, guys. Calm down. It's just questions about your personal takes on wrestling and stuff like that. But I did it back in, like, around Mania time. I think I did
Yeah,
it.
in April. That's when I stopped doing it.
But make sure to tweet Kev or DM him, and he'll set you up with that. So that'll be around soon. But until next time, until next Friday, we'll see you on Wrestling Reverb, and I guess we'll open the show next week, whether we see if we're right about this 6-pack challenge or not.
Can't wait to be wrong.
Me either. All right, see you everyone. Bye.